Is this your dream income, or that's just to pay bills?
It's just big bills, because I would need to save up and stuff. Honestly, I have one kid.
Oh wow, congratulations. Boy, girl? Yeah. Girl. Alright, so you see the need for more money, right? So this will be a starting point. So I want you to give me the number that would allow you to take care of your daughter the way you would like to take care of her. The annual income.
Well, when I went to high school for, I would have tried making $100,000 a year just because I wanted to be a physical therapist. But then I got stressed out when I figured out I could go to college for 10 years.
Yeah, it's kind of like becoming a doctor.
Yeah, I wanted my doctorate. That's why I could have went for like 4 years, but
Okay.
that was too stuffy.
I got you. It's a process. That's a process. So if you state exactly where you're at Amazon, how long would it take you to get to the $100,000 a year?
Maybe like 3 to 4 years.
3 years. You know a lot of people there in your current position that are making $100,000 a year.
I think the operation managers, not all of them, but a few of them at least.
Okay. And how long do you think they were there until they got to that position?
Well, the one that's in our department, I know that he just got his master's and he's been there after he got his master's. He got that position because for that position, we like to make sure that people have a master's degree at least, and if not, they would have to be there for years to even be able to get that position because that's I think at tier 6.
Gotcha. So when you say years, maybe like a decade or.
I know a tier 3 that's been there for only 5 years.
Okay. And got to the 100,000 position. Didn't get to the 100,000.
No.
Oh, so you're saying tier 10 will be longer, or tier 6 will be longer to get to that. So let's say 10 plus years, or you go and get your master's, shorter period, but it's gonna take time to get the master's, the bachelor's, master's. So like that's 6 years in itself, right?
Yeah, I mean, you put more money into college than you do like working your way up in a company.
Yeah.
Obviously.
It's kind of like a backward system, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of crazy. Are you okay with that? Because some people say this. They say, you know what? I'm just not gonna make $100,000. I'm gonna just be average and ordinary. Or they say, I'm gonna figure out how to make $100,000. Where do you feel you would stand?
I'm gonna figure out how to do it and I'm just gonna attempt. Do my
You're
best.
gonna attempt to do it.
Doing it, yeah.
So now let me ask you this: what are the chances of you staying at Amazon long enough to do it there?
Depends how long my body can handle it.
Okay,
I have some problems medically.
gotcha. So it all depends on if you can handle the physicality of the situation.
Mm.
So it kind of would make sense for you to look at other avenues of maybe increasing your income that involve less physical activity, right? All right, so we're going to talk about that today. So we have a 12 to 24 month training program here, and I'm going to kind of explain how it works to become a broker. And we also have a part-time training program where people go out and make 1,000 to 3,000 a month part-time. The broker training program is for a person to open up their own office cable, and the average VP makes $100,000 a year. Which training program do you think would stand out to you most?
The top one that would take careers.
Okay, so you would, Kayla said talk about the big bucks.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so a couple things, Kayla. First is this. This is called the cash flow quadrant. There's 4 ways to make money in America. Have you ever heard of the cash flow quadrant, Kayla?
I don't think so.
No? Okay. So the first way to make money in America is as an employee. That's typically working for someone, like a 9 to 5 schedule. Like you clock in and you clock out, right? The thing is, as an employee, do you control your own income as an employee? Or does someone else control it? Someone else controls it, right? Do you have the freedom to leave the job and continue to make money?
Depends if you have a backup plan.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this: if you're still working there, you got to physically be there to make the money, right?
Mm-hmm.
So as an employee, your income is completely active upon you physically being at the job, right? A self-employed person, I had a gentleman I was interviewing yesterday that owns a restaurant in Sickle, actually. He said he makes the best wings in the state of New Jersey. That's what he told me. I told him that's up for debate. We're gonna have to try that out. What did you say?
I've heard that so many times.
Say it again.
I've heard that so many times.
You heard right? That's what I told him. I'm like, that's up for debate. We have to have a side-by-side comparison. I can't just go with your word, right? so he was arguing with me over he's like, no, I got number one is national competition. Now the thing is, with his restaurant, Katie, he cooks the garlic parmesan wings a lot, right? The interesting thing about that is if he's not there, it may not turn out the same way to him. That's a problem. Because his workers, don't make it like he do. Like he say, I put my foot in that sauce, right? They don't put their foot in the sauce. They just trying to work to go home. And he goes in there, he said he gets mad at them, Dominique, like, what are you doing? It don't taste the same. So the thing is, he is still a slave to his own job. Even though he owns it, he still got to be there, kid. Make sense? So on this side, you can own a business, but you're still active, meaning you physically got to be at the business to make money. Okay? A true business owner has what's called a system. A system saves you stress, time, energy, and money. Have you ever heard that before, Kaylee? No?
No.
Okay. Amazon has a great system. Jeff Bezos is the owner and founder of Amazon, correct?
I guess.
Yeah. Well, that's perfect.
I guess so.
That's perfect that you said that. That means he did it the right way because you don't see him every day. So he's got a system where Kaylee can work there and he doesn't have to come in and do the job. Make sense? That gives him freedom. He can travel the world from island to island and be in Dubai, partying, right? That's what he does. But the business keeps running without him. Does that make sense? When the business owner has that going on, this is called passive. That allows that owner to have complete freedom and live the dream life. Make sense, Kaylee? That's a better situation, right, Kaylee? So here, you have people working for you. Here, as an investor, you have money working for you. So just imagine, Kaylee, that you had $100 grand a year coming in based off of your investments. So your investments are earning enough interest where it's sending you a check every year for $100 grand a year or $8,000 a month. How would you feel about that?
Yeah, that would be better.
That'd be better, right? So as an investor, you have money working for you. So Kaylee, what side would you rather be on, the left side or the right side?
Right side.
Tell me why.
Because it's easier. Well, I can't say easier because it does take a lot
To get to that point.
Yeah, but you get more out of it.
Yeah, you can spend more time with your daughter on that side. Makes sense? So I think that a lot of people, Kaylee, in America have money and no time. And to me, that's not success. And I grew up in a single parent household. My mom worked 3 jobs, put me through school. She would make occasional basketball games, right? But she had to work a lot. So I think that success is when you can have time, right? And money. Because let's say you make a lot of money, Katie, but you never see your daughter. That's not true success, right? But let's say you see your daughter all day long, but you have no money. That's not success either, right, Kaylee? That's not fun.
I'm getting money handed to me every day. No.
Exactly. So you would have to figure out how to have both at the same time. Does that make sense? All right. So the second concept that I'm going to share with you, Kaylee, we're going to talk a little bit about what we do as a company, and then I'm going to talk about how we're compensated. Okay? We help families build what's called a financial house. Now, Kaylee, I wasn't an art major, so you got to excuse my stick drawings, right? But it's still legend without me, right? Even Dominique in the back, if you can see him, like that's glasses there. Even Dominique can see him. So the lowest level, Tammy, of the house is the foundation, right? So the foundation, Kaylee, is the strongest part of the house. Would you agree?
Yeah.
Right? They will actually condemn a house that has a bad foundation, even though the house looks good, Tammy. But you can have a house that looks horrible, but as long as the foundation is solid, they will let it stay. That's how important the foundation is. The foundation of your financial house, Kaylee, is what we call income protection, also known as life insurance. Do you know what life insurance is for, Kaylee?
If someone suddenly, or they know they're passing away, the family gets earnings from it.
So they get a lump sum. So like, let's say that if God forbid something happened to you, it would leave money for your daughter to make sure her bills and her expenses are taken care of. Because I'm imagining she's not old enough where she could work for herself now, right? Not at all. It's like she's not bringing in money. So it would, so you would have to leave money to whoever's going to take care of her, right, Kaylee? So that they could be all right, taken care of her. That's what life insurance would be for. The second level is the base of the house, Kaylee. The base is the debt elimination. You believe debt is bad, right, Kaylee?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you know what debt stands for, Kaylee?
You have negative money, like you owe a lot of money to people.
Yes. We just simplify it. We just tell people, don't even buy that. That's what it stands for. Don't even buy that. So next time you're in the mall, Kaylee, just remember that acronym. A message. Right? But yeah, you're right, Kaylee. It's just it just means that we owe other people, right? And the challenge, the number one debt right now, it just got surpassed. The number one debt was credit cards, Dominique. Do you know what the number one debt in America is now?
No.
No? Want to give us a guess, Jamie? What would you imagine? It was credit cards.
Student loans.
Student loans.
Oh my god, of course it is.
That's the number one debt.
Yep.
Isn't that crazy?
That's why I didn't go to college.
Yeah.
That stressed me out too.
Yeah, I tell people you gotta really know. Like, if you're gonna be a doctor, go to college. But if not something that requires college, you gotta be very careful about that. Students are graduating with student mortgages, we call them now. They're no longer student loans, they're student mortgages. Because they graduated with 6 figures debt with no home. That's crazy. It does something.
I know.
I know. 6 figures debt with no house.
They like run people into the dirt when they're just trying to do good in life. That sucks.
That's crazy. I have a client, Kaylee, that has 150,000 student loan debt, works at Walmart. That's crazy. I said, did you know it's statistically impossible to pay it off working at Walmart? It's never gonna happen. They can't even cover the interest on the 100. In fact, the debt's gonna grow because what they're paying is less than the interest. So they're gonna pay for 10 years, Juwan, and then owe 160 grand in 10 years. That's horrible. That's horrible. So that's debt. We have a program to help you get out of debt. The third, Kaylee, is investments. You gotta get your money to work for you. So Kaylee, you have to have college funds set up for your daughter, right? So you wanna set aside money so that when she turns 18, there's money for her. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so investments are like savings.
Yeah, not at the bank though, because if you invest at the bank, what you put in it was gonna be there. You wanna invest it where it's gonna grow while sitting there.
Where are you gonna put it?
We have investments called college funds, mutual funds that are invested in the market, and it allows the money to grow. So we'll jump in that a little bit, but not the bank, because it's never gonna grow there. The second one is for retirement. Even though you're young, Kaylee, you gotta start preparing for retirement, believe it or not. Because if you wait and procrastinate, the likelihood of you retiring at a decent age is very low, and you'll probably have to work till you're a lot older. You don't want to work till you're 80 years old, do you?
Probably not.
Nah, right? So you gotta start, the younger you start preparing, the earlier you can start retiring. Right? So that's how we help people build a financial house. Now what I'm gonna do, Kaylee, is show you a couple principles about money, and then we'll hit the compensation. All right. The first principle, Kaylee, is called the Rule of 72. We call this the best kept secret in the financial industry. So what's your daughter's name, kid? Luna. L-U-N-A? Okay, cool. Let's say Luna was just born, and let's say Luna inherited $1,000, but she inherited it with rules. Rule number 1 is it's gotta be invested for her future. Rule number 2 is it's gotta be put in a place where it will grow. All right? So let's say you put it in your local bank account, and let's say you were generous, Kaylee, and they provided a 3% rate of return on your money. Okay? So at every $100 you put there, Kaylee, they add $3 at the end of the year. Make sense?
Yeah.
So the way this rule works is you take the number 72, you divide it by the interest rate that the bank gives you. 72 divided by 3 equals 24 years. Kaylee, that represents the amount of years it takes for your money to double in that account. So if we started out when Luna was born, 24 years later, how old is Luna? 24. Her 1,000 will double to 2,000. At age 48, her 2,000 doubles to 4,000.
That's a long time.
Long time, Kaylee. And most banks don't even pay us 3% interest on our savings.
Yeah, no.
It's less, right? It's like point something.
Yeah, like 1 point something.
Yeah, if it's 1%, Kaylee, 1 in 72, 72 years. 3/4 of a century, Dominique, for $1 to turn to $2. That's not good, right? It's out of pocket, right? 12% is called a mutual fund. Do you know what a mutual fund is?
You share the fund with somebody?
Yeah, that's what I thought, right? I thought mutual fund, you get together, that's for fun. I was like, oh, that's what you do with your girlfriend on the weekend, mutual fund. So, I didn't know what it was either, right? So, a mutual fund is an investment, okay? We call this the elevator story. Elevator A, elevator B. So, Kaylee, you're here. That's the elevator cable holding the elevator up. That represents Amazon. Stock in Amazon. Amazon has a bad year. That means the cable snaps. The elevator goes down. That's like you invest all your money in one stock. Does that make sense? Because if the stock does bad, all your money does what?
What's a stock?
What's it? Oh, okay.
I've heard someone talking about how they have stocks lately, and I'm
He said, what's a stock?
Isn't some money related?
Yeah. A stock represents ownership in a company. It's a percentage of ownership in a company. Very small percentage, but needless to say, it's a percentage. So you can say, hey, you have your company and you want Tammy to invest in your company. Say, Tammy, I'll give you 1% ownership in my company. And if we grow, I'm gonna split the profits in direct proportion to how much you own. So that may be $10 you give her if the company grows $1,000. Make sense? So she owns a part of your company. Okay, that's all stock is. Companies allow you to own a part of their company, and as they make profits, they break it down. The part that you own, you get a return on your investment. You get a profit too. That's all it is. Okay? So if you have all your money in one stock, and then that company does bad, Kaylee, it impacts your portfolio. But if you have elevator B that has 150 cables, okay? Amazon, Apple, Walmart, what's the likelihood of all those companies going out of business at the same time? Not likely. That's what a mutual fund is.
So it shares profit with other companies?
Yes, it spreads out your risk because now if you put $100 into those stocks, $1 goes to Apple, $1 goes to Microsoft, $1 goes to Gerber, $1 goes to Acme. It's not all in one company. Make sense? So it spreads out your risk. All right? Got that, Tammy? Okay, I'm gonna have you do that next, Tammy. I'm playing with you. But you got it down, right? Damn, shit, I ain't ready to do it now. So mutual funds.
Oh shit.
Kaylee average 12% interest. 72 divided by 12, the money doubles every 6 years. So here, Luna, 6 years has 2,000. At age 12, Luna has 4,000. At age 18, Luna has 8,000. At age 24, Luna has 16,000. At age 30, Kaylee, Luna has 32,000. This is just if you left on $1,000, Kaylee, for Luna. At age 36, Luna has 64,000. At age 42, Luna has 128,000. At age 48, Kaylee, Luna has 256 grand. Now we're talking, right, Kaylee? Isn't that better than that? Yeah. What do you think happens when you put your money in the bank, Kaylee?
It stays there unless you touch it. I don't know.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you a secret, Kaylee. And don't tell the bank I told you this. They put your money over here So the bank, when you put money in the bank, they invest it in mutual funds. So they made this, but they promised Luna how much?
4,000.
And how much did they make? How do you feel about that?
It's
kinda
not their
not
money,
good,
so I
yeah.
don't know.
Well, think about it. It's your money, Katie.
If it's building interest, it actually grows, but just stays the same.
Yeah. But who is it growing for? You or them? Them, because they only gave Luna 4,000, but behind the scenes, they really made 256,000.
I have a question. Is it different if you're with a credit union?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
So the credit union, 1.5% instead of 1%. Slightly different. We're community oriented. We're having a co-drive. So they're a little more community oriented. They're a little better with loans, like you buy mortgage, stuff like that. Less interest rate on things like that. So they're a little bit more relatable, but they do the same exact thing the bank does. So you got to get with an investment firm to invest so your money can grow. Banks are not licensed to do that. That's why they do not share this with you. Make sense, Kaylee? They're not in position to do that. Okay? Powerful stuff, right, Kaylee? So did you know this before you came today?
No.
Okay. Aren't you thankful?
I know a little bit about interest. I never knew how much it grew.
Wow. Thankful Joanna invited you today. You would be sick.
She invited me a few times, so I just never made it.
You serious, Kaylee?
Yeah.
She came one time and left.
Kaylee left, Kaylee?
She was part of that crew that came that morning.
Wow. Kaylee, this is life altering. This can change Luna's life if you apply this. So you gotta give Joanna a high five after you get it. Thank you for inviting me.
Okay. I'm gonna get it.
It's good stuff, Kaylee. So that's,
Question.
yeah.
So this is a training program?
Yeah, it's two things, Kaylee. One is, we have a client program where we help clients do this, like we put it in place for them. The second is a training program, which is why you're here today, where we help you get licensed to help clients with these things. And you're compensated for helping a client.
Okay, so I have a few questions.
Yeah.
How many times a week is it and how many hours?
Okay, that's up to you. When you say how many times a week, meaning how many times you get paid?
Training.
How many times you train? Okay.
Yeah.
So training, well, let me talk to you about how you get paid. Then we're gonna talk about how many times training is. Let's say that you're a part-timer, right? We have a young lady in the room named Dominique. Dominique's on track to become a district leader. She's like about to steamroll right through it. I think she might be number one in the state. I'm just putting it out there. She may be number one in recruiting in the state of Pennsylvania in direct recruiting this month.
And New Jersey.
And New Jersey. It's good to be number one, right, Kaylee? Absolutely. So let's say Dominique, we'll use Dominique as an example. When she's number one, they put her picture on the front of the screen. When you click on that state and you look at recruiting, it'll have her picture there, right? So she's number one. Dominique goes out and helps a client with life insurance, Kaylee. And let's say that client is paying $84 a month for life insurance. So Dominique helps that client. What our company does, Kaylee, is they times the monthly premium times 12 months to tell you how much the client is paying for the year. And Dominique earns a percentage of that number. So if she's a district leader, she's at a 50% contract, so 50% of that is $500. So if you did the same thing Dominique's gonna do, and you helped a client with life insurance, you would make $500 for helping that client. Does that make sense? Yeah. So it's not per se per hour, it's per client. So you could be working at Amazon during the week, and then on Saturday afternoon, you go and help a family with life insurance, and they will pay you $500. It's pretty good part-time income, right? If you do that 3 or 4 times a month, that's an extra $2 grand, $2,500 a month part-time. Make sense? Okay. All right, cool. You gonna make this come true, Dottie?
I am.
Speaking into existence.
I
That
am.
was just a challenge under the radar challenge.
Mm-hmm.
Under the radar challenge. So, Kaylee, here's the deal. Training. I'm glad you said that. You gotta get a license to do what you do, Kaylee. So it's a couple types of training. We have, if you get this part down here, we have what's called licensing training. There's 3 types of training: licensing training, classroom training, and field training. Those are the 3 types of training. You like to learn? Okay. You love this. Licensing training, Kitty, you go for 2 days on Sunday to get your license. So just like if you were to become a nurse, you have to get a license to be a nurse, right? So for you to help clients, Kaylee, the state of New Jersey says that Kaylee has to go to school to get a license. So you gotta go back to school, Kaylee, but guess what? It's only 2 days, not 4 years. That's a lot better, right? It's not $100,000 either. It's normally $124 for the class. You gotta cover your textbooks and all that stuff. But just for the month of January up until the 20th, it's $74. So if you're gonna do it, now is definitely the month to do it. If I would get with Juwan had to sign me up. Now's the month to get the license. Even if you don't plan on using the license right away, just get the license. Because would you rather pay $124 or $74 for the license?
74.
All day, right? So now's the time to get the license. So if I were you, I'd get with Juwan and I'd get that process started. The second is classroom training. Classroom training, Kaylee, is Thursday night at 7 p.m. and Saturday at 10 a.m. This is here at our office here. So that's like ongoing training, how to help clients. What would you do if you got in this scenario? It just helps you grow every single time. Make sense?
So does that count for the 2 days, or is that different?
That's a separate type of training. See, this training is conducted by the state instructor with the state of New Jersey. So it's like you're learning bookwork in that class to pass a test to get the license. This is actually we, as an office team, do training on different scenarios so you're equipped when you go see a client, when you sit down with someone. Make sense? This is when we actually go out and see people. You would shadow us. So it's like you would sit there while we do the presentation and you would be taking notes and learning until you got to the point where we could flip-flop and then you can do the talking and then we sit and make sure you got it. That's what field training is.
So if you're sitting there telling your client something that's wrong, you step in and
Yeah, that's what we would do. You said, Kelly, time out, flag on the play. You know, and then we would jump in there and intercept and make sure that you got it right. Yep, we got you back, Kelly. We're not gonna let you tell the client that's all wrong. That's why we're with you. We want you to get it down pat. We actually want you to become a trainer, Kelly, to the point like you're a supervisor where you train another person. Like I'm pretty sure Amazon, have you ever trained somebody at Amazon? No, it's not like that. Oh, okay. So like, you know how like some jobs you'll work for a while and then a new person will come and because you're good at that job, they'll pair you up like an apprenticeship. It's the same way here. We want you to become a trainer so that when we get a new person, Katie, we can pair them up with you. Say, hey, listen, Katie's a master at this. She's great at helping clients. You're gonna sit next to her. Like yesterday, Katie, and I'll close out with this. Yesterday, we had a doctor come, and it's funny, it's an American couple. One's a doctor and a bar owner, like totally opposite. It's like really weird. But they came to the office, so I had 2 trainees. I had a gentleman named Ronald Torres and Elizabeth watching me. So I was conducting a presentation right in that office last night with the doctor and bar owner to talk to them about investing a large lump sum of money. And so we were going over the presentation, and they were taking notes so that they could learn how to do it. That's how it works. They didn't have to say anything, Kaylee. They just smile and take notes. That's all they got to do. Smile and take notes. So that's what we do, Kaylee. I started out part-time by myself. I started out part-time, Kaylee. I was a college student. I was about 23 years old. I was broke at the time. I was working at Pep Boys, and I needed to make more money. I was introduced to the business by a guy named Larry Wilson. He spoke to me like how Jawan spoke to you and invited me to the office, and I got started. And I got licensed, and I wasn't a super fast start person. And actually, I joined in November, but I didn't get licensed till March. So I wasn't a person that moved very, very fast. I had a lot going on, But when I got licensed, my first client was my aunt, and they paid me $420 when I helped her. In 1 hour, Kaylee. So my thought process was, man, if I can make $420 an hour, what if I can do this 3 or 4 times a week? That makes sense, right?
Or if you wanted to do it like 3 or 4 times a day.
Exactly, Kaylee, you think like me. Because you know how long it took to make $420 at Pep Boys? It took a very long time. So I was trying to figure out how I could do this enough times to leave Pep Boys. So 3 years in, 3.5 years in, I made 33 grand my 3rd year in the business part-time. I still had Pep Boys, they paid me $21,000, but I spent more time there. So I made 50 grand a year total, but I spent more time at Pep Boys 9 to 5 every week, and I made less money. So my 4th year, I fired the job. My income went to 75 grand a year in Primerica, and I quit Pep Boys. That was in 2008, and I have not worked for anyone since. Okay, so I can tell you it's a business that you can work and make money, right? But it's also a business, Katie, where you don't have to leave your job. Like you can just get licensed part-time, and myself and Jawan, we will show you how to go out and make an additional part-time income.
So if you're making a full-time thing?
It's up to you, Kaylee. We don't pressure people to do that. I think you should try it out. You know, that's what I tell people. It's like swimming. Like you know, you get the low end, right? Or if you're in the military, they just throw you in the deep end. But normally you start out in the low end. You know, you get your stroke a little bit, and then you say, I'm gonna go a little deep, right? And then you get to 6 foot, right, Jamie? And then you get to 8 foot. Then you go on, he said, not me. And then it's the ocean, right? But you start out over here. So I would encourage you, Kaylee, get the license part-time, try it out, see how it works for you. And then down the line, you can decide whether it's something that you want to pursue full-time. But there's no pressure. Keep your job, that's what pays your bills, and use this as extra income on the side. That's what I would recommend for you starting out. All right. So what I'm gonna do, Kaylee, we're gonna set a time to get back together with you in the next 24 to 48 hours, and we're gonna like go over more in detail with you and break it down. So that way, if there's any questions that you have, we can get them answered for you.
Okay.
That's cool. Good deal. So I'm gonna actually meet with you over here real quick, Kaylee. We're gonna go to the office on the side and any questions you have answered. Do you work tomorrow, Kaylee? Or, yeah. What time do you work tomorrow? 6 p.m.